Hello, hello, and welcome to Pump the Brakes. My name is Michael, and I'm joined here by Dave.
Whoa.
What a week. What an absolute trouncing of the dog shit New York Giants. You know what? I take that back. I take that back. Those are the same Giants that beat the Eagles, the same Giants that took the Lions to overtime just last week with their quarterback of the future back in the lineup.
Yeah, they would have been better off without him, frankly. But to me, the story, the takeaway of the game wasn't really about X's and O's so much as it was about the energy of the game. I mean, I thought this game was a breath of fresh air, and if you can say that on your 10th straight win, that's like a champagne problem, right? We're picking nits at that point. And that's what this game was. They came out with an energy that I don't think we've seen yet this year. There was an urgency, there was this sort of tone setting, controlled violence and aggression, exactly, that every good team needs to have. And I'm not saying they were missing it, but we hadn't really seen it on full display before. I think maybe the closest we've come to that was the Buffalo game where you could sort of feel the energy they had. They were pumped up. Stephon Diggs was jumping out of his skin
Yeah,
to get going in that game. And this game felt like that, but in all three phases. And I'm not sure what the reason was, if it was the way the game went the week before, or it was the prime time spot, or it was, the particular opponent. I tend to think that it was about finishing strong and not getting trapped by the time off that was coming up after this game. And so, I mean, they could have very easily taken their foot off the gas and, tried to cruise against a much less talented team and gone into the bye week in a much worse position, but they didn't. They came out firing. They came out in control and dictated the terms of the game, and they played complementary football all three phases.
they came out hitting, right? Like they came there with like they established themselves. It was like and then you saw the tone shift, I think, in the locker room afterwards, right? Like Rabel starts saying, this is how champions need to play. I think it's almost like the team is coming into its own in a way, right? Like they're acknowledge like it's almost like we're seeing it's like the 2025 Patriots are here, right? And they're serious contenders, and they're like, we should be playing like it.
Yeah,
Like they're no longer the underdog.
we're seeing the maturation of a playoff caliber team. We're getting to, and potentially championship caliber team. We're getting to the second season, right? The first season, I guess you could call it, is the first game through Thanksgiving. And now Thanksgiving through the end of the regular season, throw whatever cliche you want out there, separating the men from the boys, not cutting time, whatever it is, you button shit up and you finish at this point of the year. And that was the attitude that I felt was just palpable watching this game from this team.
Yeah. Yeah, they came in and from the first minute they outclassed the Giants, right? The May came out firing on all cylinders. The defense came out firing on all cylinders. I mean, that was one of the most dominant first halves of football that we've had this year. That was just the most dominant first half that we've played thus far.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to start, I guess, with the offense, but let's talk about Drake May. I mean, it's getting a bit repetitive, maybe not last week, but week after week, I feel like we're coming on here. This is the best Drake May game since.
Yeah.
And I think this might have been the best game of the year for Drake May, if
Ooh,
not
why?
up there with maybe the Saints game as well. I just felt he was in total and complete control of this game. Like never
Yeah.
once did it feel, you could say that for the team as well, generally speaking, but for him in particular, with how concerned everybody sort of rightfully was with the offensive line issues and the injuries mounting, never once did I feel that he was not in total command. He felt unfazed in the pocket despite those changes in the offensive line. And he wasn't perfect, right? He had a couple throws that were behind Hunter Henry, behind Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talked about last week in helping this offensive line how, previous Patriots offenses were quick passing offenses, and this is more of a deep ball offense. And he got the ball out incredibly quickly. It was this quickest time to throw in 6 weeks,
Yeah.
in
And I
fact.
think just and I think it's reflective or indicative of just the comfort and his comfort in this offense, which is, I think, has come incredibly fast, right? Like we thought maybe where Drake May is now would be at the end of his third year, but instead he's audibling from pass to run to pass, like he's reading the defense. He's those a couple throws he made where he pump faked Hunter Henry open, right? Like he
Yeah.
pump faked to Travion and
He's
then bam.
manipulating defenders. He's actively manipulating defenders as he goes through his progression. What he was doing there was he was manipulating the flats defender to come down on the running back so he could open up a space in the zone for his tight end. Exactly. So I
Yeah.
mean he's far beyond when Drake May came out of the draft. No one denied the arm talent. No one denied the athleticism. The questions people had were about his ability to process the game. Could he get past his first read in his progression? Could he handle pressure? Could he play with touch? And what I mean by touch is the ability to alter trajectories and velocities based on what's needed. Not everything can be a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Not everything can be in the chest of your wide receiver. And I actually think that those things that were his quote unquote weaknesses coming out of the draft are now like his objective strengths. He's the best touch passer in the NFL right now. I don't
without
think
a doubt.
anybody throws a better ball with touch, with accuracy, with changed velocities than Drake May in the league.
Yeah. And you see his receivers have full trust in him, right? Like if you look at the replay, the all 22 of the Kyle Williams, Diggs and Hollins already have their fingers up for a touchdown. Like it's the ball hasn't even made the arc yet. And they just know that it's going to fall into Kyle Williams' hands. He's so humble, right? He's like, oh, it was a better catch than the throw. Like, stop,
And
stop.
it was a great job by Kyle Williams to track it down, but a beautiful ball. That and the booty touchdown, those were just such great throws. I heard an interesting sort of analogy that crosses sports that Drake May really is a point guard. His brothers played forward
Yeah,
in basketball, but he played point guard, and you can tell because the strength of a point guard, where Tom Brady's superpower was everything pre-snap and understanding what's going to come, Drake May's superpower seems to be in the line of fire, reading and reacting to what's happening around him, having this sort of innate sense for what's coming and being able to decipher who the ball needs to go to or what he needs to do himself. Really is a point guard out there in the line of fire, and that's where he's at his best so far.
yeah, makes sense. And that's what they need him to be, right? I think he did another thing he was really good at. He was really good at stepping up into the pocket. I think he did that was, I would say that was a weakness of his last year. And now there was some tweet that's just like, this is like, if you're teaching a quarterback how to properly step into the pocket, this is how you would do it, right?
Right. Any great athlete like Drake May can manipulate pressure by running around, right? It's the advanced sort of elusiveness is, and I hate to keep bringing him up, but when
Brady.
you compare it to the greats, and so it's that manipulation of the pocket without having to leave the pocket that truly separates great passers from good athletes.
Yeah.
And he's learning that part without drifting into pressure, without panicking and leaving too early. He's not leaving food on the plate and putting himself in jeopardy. And that's the growth from week to week because I mean, just a matter of a couple weeks ago, we were talking about stop panicking and leaving too soon. There are guys open downfield, and I don't feel
Right.
that is happening much at all anymore.
No, he's really calmed down. Yeah, yeah. We were talking about how like is Drake May responsible for most of the sacks, and at this, no, not anymore, right? And he's being sacked less.
I found a couple, if you don't mind me rattling off a couple of stats, because
Hit it.
I saw some of these, and to me I think you can lose the forest for the trees or whatever when talking about Drake May and just how good he's been this year without some proper context. So some next gen stats on Drake May. Against single high safety looks, he has 1,927 yards. That's 240 more than any other quarterback in the league. His 9.6 yards per attempt against single high safety looks are the fifth highest by a qualifying quarterback since 2018. He leads the league in throws into tight windows, and Next Gen Stats defines tight windows as a receiver with less than 1 yard of separation between them and the nearest defender. His 51.6% completion rate is the highest since 2018.
That's
On pa
incredible.
Yeah, on passes, you talk about touch and accuracy, throwing into tight windows. That's advanced quarterback play for a young quarterback. On passes of 10 yards or more, 61.7% completion rate, second highest in the league right now. He has 14 more completions of 10 yards or more than any other quarterback in the league. And he's the only quarterback in the NFL with a positive win probability added on pressured dropbacks. So he has
That's
one.
crazy.
Yes, yeah. So when he's under pressure, he's the only quarterback who's adding to his team's chance to win in those situations positively. He has
Wow.
1,038 yards under pressure. It's more than any other quarterback by 200 plus yards.
MVP.
He has
MVP.
9 touchdowns under pressure, which are two more than any other quarterback in the NFL. And his
That's nuts.
8.8 yards per attempt under pressure are the fourth highest since 2018.
And he's doing this with a 1 and 2 of Stephon Diggs and Kayshawn Booty.
Yes, Kayshon Boutte,
Yeah.
who in August we weren't sure was going to make this team.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs, who we didn't know what he had left in the tank coming off of a torn ACL.
And they've been good. but
They
this
have
isn't
absolutely
this
need
isn't
it.
but this is not Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams.
It is not.
I want to be
It's
yeah,
absolutely not.
right. So when we talk about most valuable player, I think it's important to consider how Drake May is doing more than Matthew Stafford. He's more efficient than Matthew Stafford with, I would argue, a far inferior set of weaponry
Yeah, his
and
supporting
protection.
cast is objectively not as good as the
Dog shit
Rams.
run game, middling pass protection,
Average receivers.
average
I think it's
receivers.
fair. If they you
Yeah,
want to elevate them to slightly above, that's fine. But yeah. I mean, Stephon Diggs is the third option on the Rams if he's on that team right now.
easily. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I was also pleasantly surprised by the offensive line. I mean, for all the panic that people had, and we'll see how it goes in coming weeks, it's just the beginning.
Yeah,
For all the panic, I didn't really notice Vidarian Lowe much in this game.
that's a great sentence. That's
Yeah,
just a
I mean,
great
that's all you can
sentence.
ask for, right? Especially against a front as talented. Now, again, they benefited from
The
Abdul
first quarter.
Carter, yeah, not being allowed to play in the first quarter because, like the quarterback, he's a fucking rockhead. That's just apparently they went into the draft last year and said, who are the biggest idiots we can find? And I wanted Abdul Carter. I mean, the talent is what got him picked third overall. He's an incredible talent, and he was great when he came into the game. But just Dart, Carter, Scatabo, just morons,
Meatheads,
man.
dude. Just meatheads. I mean, look at this guy. What a tone setting play by Christian Ellis.
Yes, it was I mean, he had multiple tone-setting hits
I
between
he
almost killing Gunnar Olszewski
thought
and
I saw a
then
dead body.
this hit on Dart. Yeah.
I witnessed we witnessed two attempted murders, and I'm in full support of both of them.
Yeah, both were well, that first one to Dart was certainly legal. The other
Certainly
one to
legal.
Olszewski was a little aggressive, but
I
hey,
would
that's
insist
football.
that that's football, and it's not like he targeted him, right? It's just the guy, he got hit by the other guy, whatever. It's football. Let the boys play. Now, if this happened to like Marcus Jones, I'd be like, what a dirty, dirty, dirty Giants team. But like,
Scumbags.
it's scumbags, dude.
And I saw there was some pearl clutching because I just don't think you just don't see hits like that anymore, but
No, you really not without a
still
penalty
legal.
flag.
Right.
He hit him so hard the guy fumbled the fucking ball.
Yeah, and the Dart thing, like, I don't, it's an aside, but that kid just doesn't get it. I mean,
No.
he's not an advanced passer. I didn't love him as a quarterback coming out of the draft. He played in a bit of a gimmicky college offense where he had to rely on his feet as a safety blanket because he can't read the field. And, that isn't going to last very long at the NFL level. So you either
No, and
become a better passer or you die trying not to become a better passer.
and yeah.
It's not
No,
cute anymore.
luckily he has the mentorship of Jameis Winston, so you learn how to make better decisions.
Yes, sound, logical decision making, always a calling card of Jameis Winston. And a really strong leadership group there in New York with the revolving door of coaches and GMs. So
Yeah.
sky is the limit there, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Great tweet. I remember from who, which was like, it's this photo, and it's like, are we blaming this on the Dayball as well?
I can't believe he's done this.
Like,
Oh, go ahead.
it's just crazy to come back from a concussion and not go out of bounds.
Yeah, it's just because the kid doesn't know how to play the position. And this is what he's relied on his whole life trying to do it. And it's just, unfortunately, I don't know if he's in denial or what. He's just young. It's not going to work. But that's a
Yeah.
brief aside on the Giants' problem.
And he's not, and you know who else is young? Drake May, 23 years old. He barely, I mean, Jackson Dart's a few months younger than Drake May.
Mhm. I
God,
mean, they're
dude,
just different beasts.
it's the next 15 years are going to be fucking sick, dude. I'm so
Yep.
excited. I'm so happy.
But yeah, I mean, the offensive line was good overall. Ben Brown was fine. He had a bad holding, but it didn't kill them. They ended up bailing him out later after that. And it was the lowest pressure rate of the season that Drake May
Yeah,
faced.
against the fantastic front four. I think we have to give kudos to Josh McDaniels. I think the offensive line got a lot of support from the tight ends and the running backs. There are a lot of chips, right? At no point was very low left out on an island that he couldn't handle. I mean, you're just seeing this is just the difference. I mean, this is just coaching. This is coaching.
Yeah, it's the
Like
difference
this is
between a coherent, buttoned up, smart, executed game plan and just another guy who can call an offense. And
yeah,
that's what
no,
we
I
were
mean,
dealing with last year.
yeah. But yeah, no, I mean that's how I take on the offense. I mean,
Yeah, the
yeah,
running
I think the
game.
running backs.
Right. It was a class. This was another classic Henderson game to me, where it's like the final stat line's pretty good. The average yards per carry are pretty good, but it was buoyed by like one big run at the end of the game.
Exactly, when they're tired.
There's still some running into his blockers, but I mean, his big run came on a play where he had really nice vision. He found a
So,
cutback lane and was
no,
able to get 20 something yards off of it. So
we're
there's
seeing
growth there.
growth from the running backs, right? They are getting better on outside zone runs. Like they're getting a higher percentage of success there. So hopefully we see more of that get worked into the game. What I really want to see from the running game, I just want to see a game where they're not an apps. Like I want to see a game where they're at least middle of the pack on a if when you exclude those explosive runs. But maybe that's just not on the cards for this year.
Yeah, I'd like to see the run game be something that they can stay on schedule doing, I think is the way I would put it. It feels
Yeah.
like the run game is often an impediment at times to their ability to run the offense in the sequencing that they hope to do it. And it doesn't have to blow teams away, but it has to not stall drives. It has to
Yeah.
continue your progression down the field systematically,
Yeah.
and it
And
doesn't
it's
feel fluid yet.
Yeah, it is doing just enough where like the play action is working, right? Like we're running game is just good enough where like defenses have to respect it enough to the where the play action works. I'm gonna leave us with this on the running game because I would say that this team is we are the our offense is the opposite of the Bears, where their running game is working, but they're in spite of the passing game, and our passing game is working in spite of the running game. And holy shit, is that so much better? Like I'd much rather have this problem than the opposite.
Yeah, I would rather have this problem than the opposite as well. That I would agree with, yes. And
Yeah.
the idea that Henderson and Kyle Williams are starting to contribute a bit more regularly is really helpful because you
It's
drafted
huge.
them to be game-breaking explosive players and they are hitting game-breaking explosive plays every now and then. And
Yeah.
so if you can do
Yeah.
that in a playoff game, that makes all the difference in the world.
That's why you draft guys like that, honestly. Yeah. All right. Anything else on the offense, or shall we talk about our
Yeah,
suffocating Patriots defense?
the one thing on the offense is the one sort of the biggest issue to me facing this team right now is the red zone efficiency.
Yeah.
1 for 5 on trips to the red zone in terms of touchdowns in this game.
Terrible. Terrible.
And it can kill you because, first of all, I think the problem comes down to the offensive line. I think it's an execution problem rather than a play calling problem.
Okay.
And two numbers that highlight to me why it's the offensive line at the core are that you have the third highest sack rate in the red zone in the league. You also have
Wow.
the second worst EPA per rush attempt in the red zone in the league. So you're not pass blocking in the red zone well. You're not run blocking in the red zone well. In fact, you're one of the worst in both. And so how can you expect anything to really work when you can't protect the pass and you can't block for the run?
No, 100%.
I think that's the core of the issue. And my big thing is just when you get to the playoffs, there's an old adage, losers kick field goals. Losers settle for three, winners finish drives. It's a 4-point play every time you stall out and have to kick a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown. And so if you're in a shootout, you need those points. If you're in a rock fight, you need those points. Like either way, you have to start cashing in on touchdowns. And it's getting to be a little too much for my comfort level. But again, we're talking about a level of expectation that is much higher and is a finer point, I think, than anything that's going to like it's not going to derail them the rest of the season, but
No, but it
it's
is going to affect
situational.
whether or not they can make it to the Super Bowl.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to
Yeah.
rear its head at some point, and whether or not you
Yeah.
execute is going to matter.
And hopefully McDaniels has some gadget plays that he's saving for the playoffs. When he just like when we really need a touchdown, we'll have something. And then I mean, listen, I mean, hopefully Will Campbell is back by the playoffs. That would be huge. Albert Breer said that it's a more serious injury than I think it was
Yeah, I
initially.
didn't buy that report from him. I thought that was a report without any distinction. There was no news to that report, right? He has a sprained MCL, and all Burt Breer did was really harp on the idea that a sprain is
It's
a
a
tear,
torn.
which
Yeah.
is a medical fact that we know as soon as it was diagnosed with a sprain. So like I
Right.
think the whole this is actually a tear is like just sort of ginning up reaction in my opinion. Nothing has changed from Burt
It is his
Breer's
job.
reporting. Yeah, it
That's very
is. And
funny.
so to me I just that was something that I saw as well and I listened to a lot of sports radio so I heard him say it and I'm like what is the news value of this report? There isn't any other than you're trying to elicit like a panic
Yeah.
or a response from Patriots fans, which Patriots
He
fans
did.
will gladly give you anytime. You don't even have to try, they'll give it to you. So that's how you, like we've said before, they're back when
Yeah.
Patriots fans are, it's an affront, anything you say about the team.
Yeah, we're sitting there nitpicking. Like, I mean, I called in a 98.5 after the win, and every other caller before me was like, should we be concerned about this red zone offense, red zone defense? Like, I mean, yes, but what do we like? Think about the
Not
conversation
tonight.
we're having. Yeah, not tonight. So I called in. I said everyone straight. I said, hey, Joe, just want to talk about factor 11 and 2, and that was unimaginable. I'm Michael from Connecticut.
Yeah, and it was unimaginable. I don't think nobody had this. Even if you had them at 11 wins, you didn't have them at 11 wins through 13 games.
No, it's crazy. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Beating us. All right, defense.
Yeah.
We faced. Listen, listen. I want to give the defense its credit, but let's not forget who we're facing here.
Yeah, but big credit is due because we've beaten them up week after week after week. I wouldn't say big credit, but some credit is due week after week after week. First drive scores, first drive touchdowns. They got off the field in
True.
5 plays on the first drive of this game.
True.
No
Great
points
point.
scored. So we'll give them credit there. That is growth. That's something we wanted to see. And I don't care who it was against. They needed to do it against somebody. So this isn't the best team you faced. It's not the worst team you faced either, in my opinion.
Again, this is the team that dog walked the Eagles. This is the team. This is a team that last week took the Lions to the OT.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
The Giants are a sneaky good team. Well, sneaky bad.
they get paid as well. They're professionals as well. And so there is a level of resistance no matter who you're playing. And
Yeah.
we've said it over and over with the schedule is you don't make the schedule, you just play it. The fact that they improved matters no matter who it was against. They blitzed Dart a lot early, I think, in the game, I thought, but then they got burned on the Slayton touchdown
Yep.
where there was a heavy blitz mixed with multiple, like the coverage was blown in multiple directions to where I don't even know whose fault it was, but
This was not a great Gonzo game.
it wasn't a great game from the secondary generally. The player I had the most issue with was Jalen Hawkins. He sort of stood out as playing poorly. I thought he was the Patriots' worst player in this game. He had a tough penalty. He was a part of 2 blown coverages. He missed a couple of tackles, and he also got completely washed out of the Singletary touchdown run late in the game.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I was not impressed with Jalen Hawkins in this game. Bad games happen. I do think, they played a lot of zone more than I expected against a somewhat mobile quarterback. I think they just kept everything in front of them. And I wonder, like I've said before, if they trust these safeties between the inexperience of Craig Woodson and a sort of up and down nature of Hawkins. I don't know if they trust them enough to play more man, but we'll see.
Probably not. No.
And then
Listen, but let's see what this. I also want to see what these guys look like after getting like some well-earned rest.
absolutely. No, that's a real factor. I think when we talked about it before, the war of attrition and just sort of getting to this point and with the run defense, getting to this point where maybe you just need a blow and take a week off. And the run defense could use it. One of the best players in this game was Corey Durden to me. He played with like his hair is on fire. I thought he flashed
Eh,
multiple times. He dominated his blocker a couple of times. He was in the thick of things, making plays, disrupting on the line of scrimmage. But the Giants really leaned on their run game in the second half. Dart couldn't do too much, and they started to run. And I remember that drive, drive they scored on in the second half, late third into the very beginning of the fourth quarter. And they're running and they're running and they're running. And I remember saying to the people I was watching the game with, it's like, strange time to start establishing the fucking run here late in the third quarter, down 30-7. But they were really just sort of taking what was given to them. And I looked back at the drive and it was like 7 yard run, 4 yard scramble, 9 yard run, 8 yard run, 22 yard touchdown run. So they were taking what was being given to them at that point in the game. And that was the sort of deterioration of the Patriots run defense, especially on late downs in the game.
which happens. I mean, as the game wears on.
And you are down Milton Williams and Kyrus Tonga, and to your point about the bye coming up, it's a lot of football.
I mean, we went from historically great run defense to average run defense. And
Yeah,
I
and
think
just
it really
because you
does come
dip,
down to those two players,
yeah, and just because you dip doesn't mean you can't come back up.
especially once you get back your highest
Your
paid defensive
your
defensive
your
player.
two best run defensive linemen, in my opinion. Yes, and your best fullback. But yeah, Christian Ellis popped on defense. Marte Mapu made the most of his snaps in this game, had a couple of big hits, a big breakup on a third down, so we'll take that. Like I said, there were some trends that continue. The blown coverages are a thing. The run defense, the pass rush without blitzing, sans Milton Williams is kind of a problem. But
Yeah, Chase on
you
was
hopefully
I
get him
was
back.
did Chase on play on Monday? I wasn't sure. I didn't see him there.
He
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 pulled
played. I don't.
He pulled the Matthew Judon move, I believe, and he disappeared at the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah. Let's hope that's not the case because they're thin there. But
Yeah.
I will give credit. I don't know the name of the defensive line coach off the top of my head, but one of the best jobs that's been done this year as a unit is the ability of the defensive line and the personnel people to find these guys to rotate in on the defensive line between Kyrus Tonga, Corey Durden, Eric Gregory played a lot of. Who the fuck is Eric Greg? I thought it was Nick Gregory, I thought, until the second quarter of this game. Eric Gregory, Elijah Ponder, like their ability to find some of these guys to mix in and rotate in
I
because they
yeah.
do run a rotation heavy defensive line. Kudos to them for finding some of these diamonds in the rough who can really contribute.
Again, just an incredible, incredible free agency. I think part of what makes me so excited about the future is just how successful this free agency and this draft class were.
Yeah, I mean this foundation, the goal for me always this year was build a foundation for next year and the year after, you know.
Yeah.
Compete in the division, hopefully make the playoffs, hopefully win a playoff game. As we've talked about many times, now the expectations have changed, but certainly from a personnel perspective, they have built a foundation that they can certainly continue to grow on, no doubt about it. Especially considering how far they had to come. I mean, they had to strip that roster down to the studs and
To the
build it back up.
studs. To the studs.
Yeah, and
Listen,
a
I mean,
lot
you
of
know,
bad money that you had to get rid of from those guys that were extended the offseason before when they had no
Tugger.
direction. Duggar, Bentley,
Yeah.
trying to think of who else that they purged. Or I mean, even just saying goodbye to Jalen Polk, a second round pick a year afterwards. Like
Thank
a lot of
goodness.
dead weight, and still more that will be shed, I think, in the next year. But yeah, nothing really to build off of other than potentially the best quarterback in the entire league. So that was
It's
helpful.
it's a good time to be a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Just
And
below
speaking
it.
of Marcus Jones, what
What a
amazing punt
stud.
return.
What a stud. Now
He is
he's
now
one of the historically most highest average return yards, I believe, right?
in the history of the league currently. He holds it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Minimum of 75 attempts.
And he just hit the 75.
Yep. Yeah, there was a time where it was like, you were really want for explosive playmakers, and I was a big proponent of why the hell don't we see more Marcus Jones on offense? But he's developed into such a weapon on special teams. He always was kind of a weapon, but he's developed into such a weapon, and he plays such a significant role in your defense that I mean that ship has sailed, and they don't really need it. But yeah,
You
kudos to
have
him.
a
He's
we
worth every
have
penny, in my opinion.
yeah.
It's actually we've seen them do it when he was out there on offense. He's sort of lined up almost like a James White type of passing back is how I would see using him. Get him the ball in space, let him make a move, make a couple guys miss. But
Yeah.
it's besides the point now because he's uh, developed defensively into a good enough player to where he's not a gimmick anymore. He's a real difference
Yeah,
maker.
he's our nickel corner.
Yeah. And then I guess instead of shitting on the Jets, because who cares, right? I think what we should shit on is whatever that field goal attempt ish thing was by Younghoe Koo, which is my favorite attempted kick of all time, not by Adam Vinatieri. So
That's Orgesta, yeah.
it was incredible. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. I don't know why he thought he could unilaterally take it upon himself to just not kick it and not tell anyone else.
Wild move.
That poor
Wild move.
hippie punter could have died. I mean, that could
His
have been six going
argue
the other way.
his argument was that the punter fumbled the hold,
So the
but
whole
like
watching it live, the hold was a little wonky at first, but then it's fine. And he just sort
yeah,
of like I think he just sort of decided halfway through, I'm not kicking this, which is like to me
I've
kind of
never seen that.
self-serving. I mean, what
I've
you
never
don't want
seen
to
that before.
miss, so you'll put the
Yeah,
ball and your holder and the team in jeopardy. If I were the New York Giants, I would have wished I was playing in Seattle this week, so I could have flown all the way across the country and then cut his ass and make him pay his own way back. I mean, talk about conduct detrimental to the team to pull
crazy.
up like that and take that decision in your own hands because
It's
you don't
also
want
just
to
like
miss a kick.
it's a wild thing to do because you now created a much more embarrassing play for yourself.
Yes, 100%. And I guess he could maybe argue, well, if I knife it and it gets blocked, then it gets returned. Okay. But also if your poor hippie punter gets the ball and he's getting bared down on and doesn't know what to do with it, like what happened, he could easily fumble it and it could be six the other way. So just freaking kick the ball, man. These loser kickers, man. Abolish the place kicker. I mean, never a worse time to make that argument when they're dropping 63-yard nukes because they can mess with the
Sick.
balls now. But those kickers suck, man. But yeah, so now we're set up with a hat and t-shirts game next week
Yeah,
against Buffalo. I mean, you win this game against Buffalo,
that's the
and then
division.
another week you win the division.
Yeah. Fuck.
And
Wait, would
Buffalo,
that be? We're playing Buffalo and then we're playing
Ravens.
So you're saying we might have everything already locked up by the time we play the Jets?
We could have the division at least. The division can be locked up with a win against Buffalo. You're in the
Okay, but then
playoffs
number one, yeah.
hosting a game. Number one remains to be seen. And
Okay, good, good, good,
Buffalo,
good, good.
no
Sorry.
slouch this week. They got Cincinnati with Burrow back. That defense has played pretty well the last 2 weeks between the game against the Patriots. They beat the Ravens. And now Buffalo's got to go and play Cincinnati before they play us.
If Buffalo loses, is that it?
No, I think so. Without having like really looked into the math, my understanding is if Buffalo loses, it just might mean that you don't have to beat them to win the division.
Okay.
So like you'll
Yeah.
have in terms of like loss column, you'll have a little bit more cushion,
Yeah.
but their loss doesn't mean like their loss doesn't affect your ability to win the division this week
Okay,
because
cool.
you still have half of your division schedule left. In theory, you could lose 3 division games and so you wouldn't win the division. So that you
Okay,
can't
fair
win
enough.
it this week with the Bills losing, but you can build cushion for yourself in the division hunt if they
If
lose.
if the Bills lose and then we beat them, I think that's the division.
Whether they win or lose, if we beat
No, no,
them,
no.
that's the division.
Oh, okay. Sick.
They can beat Cincinnati and we
Yeah.
beat them next week, we
It's
win the
over.
division.
That's fucking awesome. Holy shit.
And this is to me, this is when you talk about goals for this season, this game coming up is the goal. Like this was the original goal. This was win the division. This is you yourself get to put the nail in the coffin of the Bills owning the division. And who would want it any other way? Wouldn't want to have to rely on the Jets at the end of the season or something, or whatever the Eagles in the last week of the season when things aren't worth much to like pull off a win against Buffalo. You
No,
get a
you're
chance
right.
to go and do it yourself. Pull the plug.
At home. Give it to me, daddy, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, it's a playoff game.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You put it, that's a game you leave it all out on the field in that game.
Yeah, and the ticket prices would suggest that it's also a playoff game. I was just looking because I like to see what they go for each week, and it's
Yeah.
like get in price 113, 162, 438, 122.
Wow.
Like yeah,
Wow.
it's a playoff
Wow.
game, and everybody knows it.
That's that's wild. Yeah, it's a lot more expensive than Jets Dolphins this week
Yeah, yeah, or even
at
Patriots
MetLife.
Dolphins at the end of the year. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait for that game.
It's gonna be a doozy. Okay, all right. I think I got a little fuck the Jets in there anyway. Just
Yeah,
acknowledging their lack of ticket prices. If there's anything that hurts them more than any, it's not the losses; it's the ticket prices being low. So I
yeah,
really
it's the
hit him
money.
really got him where it hurts. Woody Johnson. Okay, all
All right,
right. I'm Michael,
I'm Dave.
and this has been Pump the Brakes.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.